Good afternoon and welcome in a workshop for teachers. One of my specialties is teaching people how to teach. Didactics is a very broad general term, and sometimes people use pedagogic instead. But didactics for me is a little bit more interactive. It's about not only the theories about how people learn and how people should instruct. It is very much looking at what does a student need in order to learn. And it gives a lot of interesting tools and ideas for teachers to play with, besides what happens normally in the classroom. So everything I'm going to tell today, you can think about your writing students, but you can also think about your horse. Because actually the learning principles behind it are pretty much the same. We all have learned that students have different learning styles, yeah? Some like to do, some like to see, some like to feel, some like to hear. But there's also a different way to approach this. And this is a different model I like to present to you, and you can't see it, I know. But it's learning with the 3 H's: head, heart, and hands. So the head is the knowledge. It's up here. And it gives meaning to the action, yeah? To the writing. Because you can explain with the theory why you're doing it, and what for, and how. Yeah? So this knowledge is important. The heart is your feeling. It's your behavior. It has to do with respect and with the choices that you make based on your inner feeling and trusting your inner self. And hands is the skills. It's to do stuff. And for us as a writer, it's the skill to use our body. Yeah? It has to do with practicing a lot, with training coordination. So for me, the challenge is, with whatever student I have, to bring these 3 H's into a balance. What a good instructor does is it sees, what is your preferred H? Your head, your heart, or your hands? Let's start with that one, because you're good at it. But how can we, through the back door, sneak in the other 2 and connect it so that people get a full picture? That they have an understanding and the skills and the right feeling all together. There's actually a model in Dutch, it's called Oh Bob Bob. Well, it's a system to go from being incompetent to being competent, and from being unaware that you were bad to becoming aware that you're not doing a good job, to being aware that you are actually doing a good job, to becoming unaware and automatic. But you have to be careful with the last one if you want to be a good teacher. So, another point I would like to talk to you about is motivation. And linked to motivation there is resistance. Motivation is just the trigger that you want to do what you're doing. Huh? Our horses need to be motivated too. So, there's 2 ways you can stimulate motivation. Using all your didactical tools that you can learn. And of course the personal relationship that you build up with somebody. And both of them are important. It's the same with horses. You build up a good relationship, you must have some friendship and some trust going on to keep them motivated to work with you. And at the same time, you learn techniques. So if you want to increase motivation in your students, you really want to connect to your students. You have to also recognize what is his comfort H, head, heart, hands, connect to this. How quickly does this student learn? How much can I offer in one lesson? Or how much time do I need to take just to explain this one step? It's different with every student. And I will come back to that point when we talk about resistance. Because actually if you go too fast or too slow, this is the biggest trigger for resistance in your student. So resistance comes actually because everyone wants 2 things. We want stability, which means security and a feeling of being safe. Safe on our horse, safe in our body, safe in our head, and safe with our instructor, and safe in the surroundings. But we also want to change or improve, which means breaking habits. And with change comes insecurity, because we don't know what's going to happen if we give up on this habit, or if we change this in our riding, or if we change this in our horse. So the actual resistance happens when the balance between these 2 are disturbed.